Sammy.
Okay, hey guys, I'm live on live on TikTok too.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm live on TikTok. I'm live on everything. Okay, so we're gonna ask a lot of questions and answer a lot of questions and do that stuff. A lot of interesting stuff going on in the country. I might get a little political at times. I don't really want to, but I think I have to. I think it's called for. We're in so much trouble. But so I'll stay off, but I am going to get political in these conversations. They try to kill Trump again. You know, we know what happened there a little bit. So let's go on to the first questions that we never answered. We could start with that and then go forward. There's a lot of things to talk about.
Yay. Okay, so we have one question from last week. It was Fun for Reason. Fun for Reason says, "Hey Sammy, I know that you didn't move sooner against Paul Castellano because you respected him and you didn't have Neil's blessing on it. But if you would have done it while he was alive, how would things have turned out then?"
I think it would have been the same thing. We wouldn't have never hurt Neil. That was not even a thought in our minds. Neil was dying on his deathbed with cancer. So I don't think it would have mattered one way or another, whether it was done before or after. I think we became more motivated once Neil died, not just for timing, because Paul and Tommy Bilotti didn't go to his funeral. Now, it pissed us off because this is what was keeping him alive. Our conversations with Neil, respecting Neil and holding it up. And it was a risk to us to hold it up. Maybe more people could find out. Maybe it would come out. So, but I don't think it would have made any difference. You know, if Neil was alive and we killed Paul, Neil would have done nothing to us. First of all, he couldn't. He was at home dying of cancer. I don't think he would have wanted to see John Gotti or Angelo Ruggiero. He would have been pissed off. But that's what he would have did. I refuse to sit there with them anymore. I think that's all he would have did. So I don't think it would have made much of a difference.
Okay, we have some questions from ourthing.tv from some of your subscribers there. We have Billy Ryan, who asks, "I was reading about the Fred Weiss homicide that John Gotti ordered. The DeCavalcanti family carried out the hit. Do you remember two Jersey guys, Danny Annunziata and Corky Vastola, threatening to go to war with the Gambinos because they didn't want this guy to take place at their joint?"
The idea of Danny Nunziata and Corky Vastola going to war with us is ridiculous. They were terrified of us. There would have been no match whatsoever. First of all, they were in trouble with their own family. They would have got no backing from their own family, their own boss. I don't think there was any threat of that. What happened is this. When Fred Weiss was going to get hit, I had got to one of their guys, Danny Nunziata, and said, "You know the guy. You call him into a meeting and we'll kill him." Their boss okayed this, John Riggi, told Danny Nunziata, "You do as you're told on this hit." They're running it. And one day, my brother-in-law, we were on a job, and Danny Nunziata stopped by. I said hello to him. Eddie did, my brother-in-law. And when he left, Eddie said he's building a beautiful home on Staten Island, on Toad Hill. On the way home, do you want to stop there? We'll say hello to him, check out his house and whatever. It was a brand new house. It was an old house. They wrecked it. They're putting it back together. And I said, okay. We went there. We pulled into, around the property, there was plywood stacked really high, 8 foot high, all the way around the project. So the streets You couldn't see in. All of this stuff was private, the way he was building it, and so on and so forth. So when I got out of the car, first of all, we pulled into this. The gates were open in the front. The plywood was open. We pulled in, and I looked around, and then went into the house through the garage. When I walked into the house through the garage, I looked at it. When we got into a doorway, it was still under construction, all 2x4s, and he was explaining, this is the kitchen, this is where the bedroom is going to be, this is where the bathrooms are. I didn't give a fuck about none of that. What I looked at is that, what a place for him to call Fred Weiss. Once the guy came in, I would have 2 guys at the gate and closing. I'd have some guys standing out there doing landscaping. In the garage, I'd have 2 guys and myself with paint outfits like we're painting. All the walls and the floor would be plastic, so it looks like it's being painted. And I would tell Danny Nunziato, when you get to the doorway to go into the house, take a real quick step, because we're going to kill him right in the garage. And we'll take him out in a car, put him in the trunk, clean up, leave, and leave. The guy literally had a heart attack, Danny Nunziato. He was terrified. He agreed because he was told to, but he was shitting in his pants. He didn't want to do that. I took it as, it's a construction site. It didn't mean anything. You clean it up. Maybe he would have nightmares when he went to bed. I don't know. But he didn't want it. He grabbed the guy who was a maid guy and told the guy to do it outside the guy's house, Fred Weiss's house, without my permission or consent. Or he tried to get it done. He did get it done. He got it done in such a rush that the guy who did it had his own car. Somebody caught the plate. He got caught. He cooperated. He blew the whole fucking thing. But the guy got killed, was the point. I didn't get arrested. The guy, they didn't know what the fuck happened. It came from them. It didn't come from us. I know I got a message the following day. Some guys, Anthony Rotunda and another guy, Vinny Ocean, stopped by my office. I wasn't there. Big Louie Valerio was there. And they said to Big Louie, tell Sammy that thing is done, period. Now, Big Louie wasn't on the hit. He didn't know about the hit. He didn't even know what the message was about. So when I got there, he said, Sammy, they said, the thing you were working on is done. He had no idea what they were talking about. They didn't explain it to him. I didn't explain it to him. So Big Louie actually got pinched on this charge. We had nothing to do with nothing. Didn't know about it. Had nothing. He wasn't part of it. So that's what happened. Them to go to war with us was ridiculous. They might have had 2 shooters, 3 shooters, their whole group. We had 100. And they were nothing like us. So them going to war with us, I think, was the beginning of this. That it's ridiculous. But that's how this whole thing started with this guy, Fred Weiss. And it led to, now here's the reason why. Fred Weiss had a big shot lawyer. And here's what they were doing. They were digging holes in Staten Island. At night, they would they were both in the garbage business, dump garbage in the hole. In the morning, they would come and put construction debris on top. Totally illegal. Now, when somebody buys a house, that house is built on top of that shit. And so it's very illegal. So anyway, he fired this big lawyer, and it looked like he was going to cooperate. That's why he got hit. He did all this dumping of the garbage and the debris and all this stuff with Eddie Garofola, who was in our family. He had a pretty big lawyer too, and got rid of his lawyer. So he was a schemer all his life and everything, and John and them thought he's going to be cooperating too. Take him out too. That's how, it wasn't just Fred Weiss. Fred Weiss was first. The second one was planned me and my crew. We did it. So, and he was in my crew. Eddie Garofalo. It was my brother-in-law's cousin, first cousin, and so that's how that whole thing came about. So now I told you the whole story, but I was asked a little part of that question. Worried about them coming to war with us is ridiculous.
Okay, we also have another question from OurThing.tv. Janet Kiefer says, when you cooperated and confessed everything, did you feel a sense of burden or heavy weight being lifted off of you?
I hated myself for a long time. I was betrayed. I left the life. I cooperated. I never even thought or imagined cooperating at any part of my life. I really hated myself for a long time, but I had no choice, in my opinion. My opinion was to be set up by these tapes, John's tapes and Angelo's tapes, and do life without parole and not be able to try to even help myself in the case, and that John was agreeing that let the tapes go out. Sammy looks bad. He's going to look horrible. The lawyers will bring it out in court in a nice way. You hear John complaining about Sammy. It's not John. Poor John he lost control of this animal, me. When he did that, I'm not saying that he's a rat. It's not, but it's a rat move. Everything I did for him, killing, setting up trials, rigging trials, doing all these things, and then this. It made me leave. But all my life I was arrested. When I was younger, I got arrested with Louis Molino, my Gumbada Alley boy, on a double murder. They asked us to cooperate. They asked me. I never cooperated, never even thought of it. Trained my kids not even to snitch on each other or who got in trouble in school. I didn't want to hear it. So when I did that, I hated myself, but I think that was my only option. And it wasn't mine for being in prison. I wasn't afraid of prison. It was that my family would sit there, my kids, grandchildren, and say, they're calling him an animal, he's killed all these people, he's did all these things. And I never even answered once. So it must be true. I didn't want my kids to live with that. So I left. I knew I was going to leave with a rat label. I didn't care no more. I didn't care about my life. I didn't care about the labels. I didn't care about anything anymore. And I went in a different direction. So, yeah, however, I hated myself. It was very heavy for me. It's not something I ever did, even thought about, and I've been arrested on and off all my life. Years later, I testified against the government for people who got arrested. Big Louie, like I told you about this hit, he got arrested on that. And I testified in his behalf that he knew nothing, which was the truth. When the government said, why are you testifying against us? I said, you told me to tell the truth. This is the truth. Why? Only if somebody's in trouble you like it? And they went along with it. They were offering him 24-year plea. I think they offered him 10 or 12, and he took it, even though he really had nothing to do with it. But you never know with the government. So 10 years, you're going to do 8. He probably figured, let me get out. And like I said, all my life I was arrested. And I was always against it. I always listened when somebody cooperates, especially a tough guy. I wanted to know why. What's the reason? This guy's been on all kinds of murders. This guy's been beaten like a dog. This guy fucking got pinched all his life. Why is he cooperating now? What happened? So there's reasons and there's not reasons. So, you know, it's hard to call somebody a rat when you're not in their shoes. They're first facing life without parole. I always gave people the benefit of the doubt. What did it? Why? End result, I didn't like it, run away. Listen, when I was younger, I was married already, and my older brother-in-law, Angelo, my sister Jeannie's husband, died. And she went out with a cop. We're not supposed to be around cops. And my sister was all nervous. I said, listen, Jeannie, if you love him, marry him. Just understand one thing. I'm never coming to any functions that you throw, but you're my sister. If you're ever in trouble, I'll always be there for you. But I'm not going to be at any functions, any this, any that, because I was dead against it, even being married to a cop. So you live by a certain code, but you understand things. My sister's my sister. If she falls in love with a cop, that's her business. She's not part of the life. So go ahead. But I can't participate in it. I'm not coming to your wedding. I'm not doing anything. She understood that. She broke up with him. She didn't marry him. But I heard a guy, Joey Molino, saying that when his uncle got caught ratting and he was killed. And the girl's daughter, the guy's daughter, came to him and said, what should I do? He's a piece of garbage. Throw him in the garbage pail. That is the most retarded thing I ever heard in my life. It's her father. I would tell my daughter, you love your dad. He made a mistake. He's paid for it. Go to the funeral. You're his daughter. You have nothing to do. You're not a gangster. Do what you got to do. I'm not coming, but you go. We're not animals because we got made. We're not, everything is, dark when it's not dark. So I don't know if that answered your question a little bit, but it did hurt me till today. I don't like it. But all these years later, I'm here. I repented. I did so many things to make up my life. I became a born-again Christian, as you probably know. And I feel good about my life. I feel good that I'm here. I'm able to handle my kids, my grandchildren. I went to church with my son and my grandson. I think I made the right decisions in life. I'm not happy with some of them still, but I think they were the right decisions to help people who are around me to understand certain things. And I didn't want to go down like a dog like that. I bit when I was in the mafia. I can't even bite. I got to sit there like some broken down puppy. I'm not a puppy. And I accepted that I would probably be killed for it and disgraced for it, and I was. I wasn't killed, but I was disgraced. And I fight that every day from things. I see pictures and say, oh my God, how did I turn out? I think I turned out good. I'm helping a lot of people. I changed my life. I had that opportunity. That gave me that opportunity. So going back to prison after that, I got pinched years later out here on the ecstasy case and all of that. And I don't know what that, are they throwing shots? Made it rain?
Yep.
I made it rain, all right. I made it rain. My TikTok is making it rain. I don't know what that means. Are they throwing shots?
Money,
I heard.
money.
Oh, that's money?
Money,
All right.
money.
All right. So I really, really believe, overall, I've done the right thing. I've been a man all my life. Oh, I was saying, when I got pinched out here, I got arrested, and they just did a video. It's pushed off until January. And watch that video when it comes out. It tells it to a T. There was no proof against me whatsoever. My son was going to do 45 years. My wife was pinched. My daughter was pinched. I threw myself on the sword. I took a 20-year sentence. And so if that's a rat, I don't know, then I'm a rat. So let's go on to the next question before I shoot this person who gave me that question.
Next question. Okay, Redman asks, he's also from OurThing.tv. Redman says, Sammy, last time I asked you a question, you mentioned how Tato got emotional when you were on your way to the Johnny Keys hit because he thought that that would be the last time that he would see you. My question is, can you describe your interaction with Tato the first time you saw him directly after the Johnny Keys hit?
Well, the next day after the body was found, was the next day. It was in the newspapers. When I went to Tato's club, he had the newspapers wrapped up in his hand, rolled up, and he said, he looked at me, he says, "You did it. You really did it." He says, "Here, take this and go to the boss's house. You don't need me. You can go yourself." And I went to the boss's house. The rest of that story is no. When I went to his house, and that day when I came back after going to the boss's house, and I says, "Here's what the boss said." He said, "Seb, you don't have to tell me what the boss said. He's the boss. Are you satisfied with what he said?" "Yeah, yes, I am." He says, "Okay, then just go on with your life. I already know how you feel. Go on with your life. You did what you were told to do. You had a commission hit. This is as big as it gets. It doesn't, very rare do you get a commission hit where all 5 families are voting on a person or something." He says it's very rare. "And you did it. You did what they were calling the mission impossible." I said, "I know, let's not go through that all again." And we just went on with our friendship and our life.
Okay. Last question. Dave in Pittsburgh wants to know, if Sammy and Frankie DeChico weren't in agreement with Paul's hit, would John still have gone through with it?
I don't know. It's a hard question to answer because it's like a Monday quarterback question. I don't know if he could have pulled it off, because if me and Frankie didn't go along with it, we either go along with it or we're against him. So he knows now that 2 of the most powerful families, crews in the family would be against him, with probably most of the family would be against him, plus the other 4 families, plus Sicily, plus the Westies. I don't know what he would have did, but he would have never succeeded. Me and Frankie were, I think, the main reason that Joe Piney came in, DB came in. I don't think it could have got done. I mean, a lot of guys would have said, you know, it's one thing killing Paul with Frankie and Sammy and this and that and the whole movement, but without us, I don't think they would have said, what are we going to do with Sammy and what are we going to do with Frankie DeChico? Like I said, Frankie DeChico was a major, major power, much more than I was. But putting me and Frankie together as your opposition, I think most people who live that life, whether they like me or Frankie or not, would say, nah, it would be a tough, tough call.
Okay, so I'm thinking we can do our first question, but before we do our first question, I would like to propose something.
You're going to propose to me? I'm fucking...
No, I'm proposing.
I thought she was proposing.
Definitely
all right,
proposing
all right.
that.
Because she knows I'm divorced. I
Stop.
don't know. Maybe she's...
No.
I don't know. I thought maybe she was going to propose. All right, we'll
No.
propose whatever you would.
So since our TikTokers have been tuning in on Mondays, and then they have their own separate show on Thursdays live,
Yes.
I say we double up how many people we give it out to the YouTubers on Mondays lives. So, yeah? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm
you
trying
picking it
to
up or
think
not?
about it. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, but yeah.
Because
However
we only
you
do
want to
YouTube
do it.
once a week. So the the TikTokers are getting double the entries. We can't do that to our YouTubers.
All right.
Come on, guys. Back me up here.
All right. All right.
All right. So, question is, hey, everybody agrees, Sammy. All right, the question is, when Sammy was going to leave the life, he was going to go into business selling what? When Sammy was ready to leave the life, he was about to go into business selling what?
With my sister.
With, yeah.
I was going into business with my sister. We got to give them a little clue. This is a tough one, I think.
Should I give the clue? I can say the word.
TikTok's got some good guesses, but those aren't it, guys. It was back in what year?
God, it was back when I left the life. It was I had a little girl, and my wife was pregnant for Gerard. So it's a lot of years back, and they convinced me, my wife convinced me to leave the life, and I went to work for my brother-in-law, Eddie Garofalo, who was a plumber, and I worked for him for a while, and then I became a carpenter for a while, a laborer, and then Gumbada Alley Boy called me up. Boy, you got to come in. It's over. We're in big fucking trouble. And that was the end of business, working, and everything else.
You TikTokers, I see a few of you actually got it.
They got it?
Yes,
Wow.
a few of them actually did get it.
Wow.
Right now I have 4 people on YouTube that got it. Everybody else is a little off. Anna, you got anything over there?
I got one.
Come on, guys.
Wow. Good
Okay,
guess.
I will give a hint.
Guess the baker.
I will give a hint. Confectionery treat.
And you could leave that one in that you said there. Leave that in. That's close enough. Now, we can't stay too long.
Not cannolis, TikTok.
Not cannolis.
One got it.
One got it?
One got it, yeah.
Wow.
It's not cupcakes, guys. It's not ice cream.
I know I got people over here saying cupcakes too. Come on, guys.
We'll give it a couple more seconds.
Yeah.
If you guys don't get it, we'll move on.
Are we
Oh,
gonna?
we got a second one.
All right, let's tell them.
Should we tell them now?
Yeah, because I can explain it a little bit. When I went out there and I was starting to work, I moved into my mother's house with my wife and my daughter and my pregnant wife. And I was working, and my brother-in-law's father, Mario Garofalo, invented what they called at that time candy apples. It was, you would dunk the apple with a stick in a pot, and it would come out and it would dry, and it wasn't like, it would get real hard, and the outside was like candy. So when you bit it, it was candy and the apple all together, mixed. First time ever done. Big companies tried to buy his investment, what he made. And they couldn't do it, and I'll tell you why. So, because you had to have this big pot, and you would cook this candy bread stuff, and at a certain temperature for a certain amount of time, had to be exact. And when you came out and took it out and put it on a tray, when it cooled down, it was candy-covered apple. They call it candy apples. They were usually called jelly apples. There was jelly on it. This was candy. So we talked about it, and he gave me and my sister the recipe. So we went in my father's garage and started making them. Now, he couldn't sell it because you had to make a certain batch. If it was too much longer or too much less or at a different temperature, it didn't work. So the big companies couldn't buy it because they want to make a lot. You only making a little bit at a time, a dozen, whatever it was. And then we made other kind of apples, caramel apples and things like that. And we ran around to stores, candy stores, luncheonettes, and we're selling them. And they were selling like hotcakes. People would order two dozen, and it was going great. And one day we went to a place, like a Five and Dime. They had places all over the country. And we asked them if they would like to try it. And we left them a dozen, 4 or 5 of them were candy apples and a few others. And a couple of days later, they called us back. And we went to a meeting. And they said, how did you make these candy apples? And we said, well, it's a secret. It's a secret recipe, and you have to cook it a certain way and do this, that, and the other thing. And they took one out that we had gave them. They still had it, and they got a knife. They opened it up, and it kept the apple nice and fresh because the air wasn't getting at it. And it was delicious. There's no doubt about it. And he said they were going like hot cakes. We had reordered from you guys. You gave us an order. We put them out. They didn't even last a couple of hours. So we want to buy them off of you. So me and my sister looked at each other. We're smiling. All right, good. How many you want? And they said, give us 25 or 50 dozen to start. I think of each of the apples, but especially the candy apple. So we said, all right, let us go back and let us see. Well, give us papers from the Board of Health and all of these things. Now, when we left, we figured it out. We're going to need thousands and thousands of apples. I mean, where do we get them? We could buy them from a farmer. They come on a big truck. Where are we going to put it? We didn't have health certificates, so we were in my father's garage. My mother was sticking the sticks in them. My father was helping pick them up. I said, wow, we can't do this. We were successful, super successful, and we couldn't do it. So we had told them, listen, it's impossible. We can't sell that kind of, 50 dozen a day, 7 days a week. It's impossible, we can't do it. And I laughed, me and my sister, when we left, we said, listen, we did this, we succeeded. Where do all these schmucks who fucking went big and it busted us? We can't do it. So we packed it in. And then I went to work in construction and stuff like that. And then one day, years later, not in years, a year later, whatever it was, my Gumbata alley boy called me and he says, Gumba, come in. I said, I thought he wanted to come and rob again. I said, listen, I quit. I told you I quit, bro. I can't. I just can't do it. He said, Gumba, it's not about robbing. They're looking for us on a double murder. Come in. And I came in, and they were looking for us for the Dunn brothers murders. Two brothers, the Dunn brothers, were killed, supposedly by me, Alley Boy, Louis Melito, and this guy, Larry Martieri, who was with the Cavalcanti family. And I told my brother-in-law we knew people in the police stations. I used to bribe cops and see what information you could find out. And me and my Gumbata went on the lam. We took off. I told my wife, get the kid and go back to your mother's house. And I gotta go. I told her a little bit about it. I said, I don't know what the fuck it's about, but I gotta go. This is a murder case, a double murder. When are you coming back? I have no idea. Listen, baby, if I come back, I'm gonna get busted on a double murder. I may never come out. I gotta go until I find out what's going on. She went back and lived with her mother and father. I didn't even have a car. We were so fucking broke. And we took off. And we went to Florida, me and my Gumbata alley boy, until we get some information. And me and him, putting us together in a car, all alone, is like putting 2 sticks of dynamite together with a match. We were at a club one night, and we're hanging out. And I meet this girl. And I'm going to the car with her. We have a car, and It's in the parking lot. And I open the door for her, she gets in, and I go around, I get in the car, and this little Mexican guy comes running over to me, screaming and hollering, "I'll kill you, you give me the money." I said, "What the fuck?" So I had my hand up, because I didn't know if he's going to throw punches. I didn't even know what the hell it was about. And I'm trying to open my door a little bit so I can get out. I finally open the door, and he's still screaming and jumping up and down, and I hit him a crack, knock him on the hood of the car. An alley boy comes flying over my shoulder, hits him with another shot, knocks his fucking brains in. We jump in the car, and the girl is now in the middle of the car, and we're fucking going. I stomp on the fucking gas. We hit this little bump to get out. This fucking car went airborne. Sparks flying. She's screaming at the top of her lungs, so I'm telling her, be quiet. You saw what happened. We just defended ourselves. She's screaming. Alley boy, come on, get this fucking broad out of the car. But shut up, bro. Leave her alone. She's scared. Screaming. So I told her, I said, listen, you saw what happened. We were defending ourselves, that's all. It's over. We're gone. She's panic-stricken. And then he turns around and says, Gumba, get this fucking cunt out of the car. Finally, I pull over. And she said, we're in the middle of nowhere. I said, listen, get out. You either get out or you come with me to a motel and we're going to hang out. You understand? And you calm the fuck down. She gets out of the car. I says, Gumba, he's got this little stupid grin. And that's my Gumba the alley boy. He's got this stupid grin, smirking. I know he knows something. Gumba, what happened? Why did this guy do that? Gumba, it's not a big deal. I didn't ask you it's a big deal. It's not a big deal. Why did this happen? He said the guy inside asked me for $5 for parking, that he parks the cars, and I told him you didn't want to give it to him. You told him I didn't want to give it to him. And that's why the guy attacked me. That's my Gumbada. And then we stayed in Florida for quite a while, running around, getting in trouble in different places.
More money.
More money, all right. So that's what happened. And then they said, come on in. We got lawyers, we know what happened. It's a double murder. And we went in and we came in with lawyers and surrendered, and we got busted. Me, my Gumbada alley boy, Louis Molito, and this guy, Larry Montieri. And all kinds of shit. We fought this case, and we wind up beating it. But let me tell you a little bit about this case, because it's fucking crazy. We're going back and forth to court, and one day the lawyer, Jack Ezeroft, who was a big lawyer back then, he turns around, he says, Sammy, I got this, bro, it's over. What happened? He said, just sit quietly. So we sit back, and there was this guy, Michael Hardy, was a witness against us. And he's on the stand. We're on trial. And the lawyer tells him, you know, years ago, you went on the lam. When you came back, there was somebody who was having sex with your wife. Is that true? Yes. And you pulled out a .45 and shot him 2 times in the chest. Is that true? Yes. And you did a few other things that are completely insane. And the judge sent you for psychiatric treatment. He said yes. And you were in an insane asylum for a while. Yes. And then you broke out of a fucking insane asylum. Is that true? Yes. And you ran away. Yes. And you never got caught. No. Until now. And did you ever go in front of a psychiatrist again to deem that you're normal and sane now? No. You mean to tell me you're sitting on the sand saying this about me, Louie, and Alley Boy, and this Larry Montieri, that you're, by the courts, legally insane? I guess so. The judge banged the fucking hammer. Clear the court. Clear the court. Everybody got out. Everybody got out. The judge called the prosecutor up. He said, your star witness is deemed to be legally insane right now as we're in court. Case over? They said, no, you can't do shit, the judge said. I'm saying the case is over. Bang the hammer, case over, and you can't take them back on trial. You should have known all this stuff. And we walked out. And so that's a little bit of my gumbada and stuff. And, you know, when we got pinched, let me put this part in. When we got pinched, we were in Atlantic Avenue. I was on one floor, and the other guys got pulled out by somebody and put on the 9th or 10th floor for the insane guys who were insane. So I was in this tier, and I wasn't that way. They made a connection with a guard who's a guard up on top. And the guard came to me and said, Sammy, we could get you upstairs where I am. You'll have all kinds of benefits. Your Alley Boy's there, Louie's there, Larry's there. I said, all right, then put me up there. He said, you got to do something crazy. Like what? He says, take your dick out when you come out and piss on the tier, piss all over the place. And we'll say that you're insane, and we'll put, no, I ain't doing that, bro. I'm not going to have that on my record anyway. No, I'm not going to, I'll stay down here. So while I was down there, I had a Muslim guy, a Spanish, Mexican, I think he was Mexican, big son of a bitch, in my cell. He was a Muslim. I didn't even know what a Muslim was back then. He would get a rug on the floor and he would pray. He'd go to sleep. He'd keep the cell immaculate. So I was okay with him. And when he prayed, I would try to get out of the cell and go into the day room or do something in the day room. One day I go into the day room, and there's all kinds of black guys and Hispanic, mostly black. And they were watching that Motown or something like that. Soul Train, exactly. And the broads are dancing, everybody, this is going on. So this black guy got up and he says, listen, get up. Who, me? Yeah, get up. You can't watch our women. I can't watch your women. The fuck out of here. You don't look at white women? He says, I don't want you here. I said, well, I ain't getting up. 2, 3 guys got up and boom, sat right back down. I didn't know why. I didn't even know what I did. So I turn around and there's this Muslim guy with his hands across his chest. He said, you heard him. He's going to watch television just like you guys. He's my fucking cellie. That's all he had to say. Nobody wanted to fuck with this guy. He had to be 6'2", 6'3", and I mean, he was fucking humongous. I don't think they make Muslims that big anymore, but he was huge. So anyway, I went back in the cell, and he was pretty cool, and that's how I stayed there. I didn't do anything, and then so I went to trial from that tier. I never went up to the crazy ward. I never did that, even though everybody else did. But I was cool with this guy as my cellie. He was great. He didn't bother. He had my back a little bit. So that was that whole story. I don't know how I got into the whole story, but that was that story.
And Hardy wrote you a letter later.
Years later, when I'm arrested again, I think in Arizona on this case, that Michael Hardy wrote me a fucking letter apologizing for lying and doing all of these fucking things. And he appreciates the way I talked about him in my book. And if I ever wanted to meet, I felt like telling them, bro, I got pissed, I went to jail, I lost everything. If I meet you, I'm going to blow your fucking head off. But he was apologetic. I says, listen, more or less, it's in the past. It's done. There's nothing, I don't want to meet you. There's nothing to talk about. So.
Really quickly, Anna and I are going to swap spots, but we didn't name out the people who got the answer right.
Oh. Of the jelly apples. That's his whole
So-
thing. So, all right, give the names and put them in there.
All right, so Maurice Klug, Mr. No Name, Wendy, I think Abate, Sarah Dutt, Duster Dog, Harv, Sean Davis, Sean McPeak, Billy Law, and Pizza Dave. All of you guys on YouTube are going in the jar.
The only ones that got it on TikTok is RollMac5850 and Tony Logan 420.
Yay, and they're going in the jar too.
Now, I didn't think anybody would get that. That's a
Well, it was a
long...
minute. It took a minute. People didn't get it right away.
Yeah, but it's still a long time ago, and I don't generally talk about that story, doing the jelly apples, but it was a good story.
Yeah. So Anna and I are going to switch spots. I'm going to give you the markers. Peter Allen MMA, no, I did not get your question. Ask it again.
Pizza Dave Sammy in the super chat is saying it's the San Gennaro feast here. I went and told them I was Sammy the Bull. It was sausage and peppers and zeppoli. How do you say that?
Zeppolis.
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 That's awesome. Shout out Pizza Dave.
Shout out Pizza Dave.
Elgato in the super chat. Did the American Cosa Nostra ever go after the mass mainstream media?
They did a few things to the media at one time. I forgot, there was a guy in the Banana family, Shellackhead. They used to call him Shellackhead. I don't remember his, look it up, Shellac name. I don't remember his actual name. I actually did time with him too. He was a guy, he owned car parking lots in Manhattan, and he had the newspapers there, and he actually was able to strike them when they didn't want to strike. He made them, the union strike them, and he had them by the balls. He would fuck with them on occasion. I forgot what newspaper it was.
Richard Cantarella.
Richard Cantarella,
Yeah.
Shellackhead, they called him. Him and his son. I know his son's a May guy too. He was a captain. He was almost the consigliere of the family, Richard Shellackhead. And he has a son named Tony who cooperated as well. They both cooperated. And real nice guy. I went out here to a restaurant that's a friend of theirs, and I go there. It's a pizzeria. I go there every so often. And the first time I was going to meet him, they got a daughter in this pizzeria. I forgot the name of the pizzeria. But we go there on occasion. I went there with my wife, my family a couple of times. And they said there's going to be a sit down between Sammy and Richie. So the kid asked, Sammy who? She says, Sammy the Bull. So she says, they told her, who do you think is going to win? She said, Sammy the Bull, for sure. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, he had something to do with the news media. He had them. He had strikes happen against them. You know, we're talking about the news media. I mean, I don't know if this is the right time to talk about the news media.
Sure.
It is. Let me say something. I have a lot of friends. I did a thing with Diane Sawyer with ABC. I have another friend, Claire, a bunch of them that I was very, very friendly with. Lisa Soloway, there's a bunch of them that I was, good people, really, really good people. What information came out about with ABC, the two people who asked the questions against Trump was so horrible. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. I mean, they gave Kamala Harris the questions before. That's how she was answering so quickly.
Right.
She knew the answers.
No one's seen her talk like that before.
No, she usually waits and talks. No, she knew the answer. She knew the question. She knew the question. She knew the answer. Not only that, they made a deal with her that they would fact check him 5 times. They fact checked him. They didn't fact check her once. Everybody's fact checking her today. She got caught 15 times in lies.
And the moderators fact checking lied about their fact checks.
Right.
It's
So
insanity.
it's an incredible thing. I understand that they may have fired these 2 people. ABC should be ashamed of themselves. I know the people that I know there are probably devastated that this thing happened. They probably definitely are. They're good people. But sometimes you got to listen to your boss, no matter how good you are. I know one of them that I mentioned is got a child. She's alone, a mother alone. And one time I spoke with one of them, and I said, it must be horrible to lie. I know you went to college. I know you did great things. I know you were a great person. She started crying on the phone and said, Sammy, I have a kid by myself. If I lose this job because I complain or I do something, I can't get a job in any other fucking newspaper, news station. It's a terrible fucking thing when we have a media that went totally fucking corrupt. Now, all of you people out there in the media should be ashamed of yourself. If you call me or anybody corrupt, go look in the fucking mirror what you are doing. This guy was shot once and then almost shot again. He's arrested I don't know how many times with how many charges, all bullshit.
Yeah.
And now you're rigging a fucking thing and joining. This is the most evil thing I've ever seen in my life. Because you're going against your whole country. Not an individual, not a group, the whole country. When you did this, you're a betrayer of the entire country.
Yeah.
How do you live with yourself? And this woman is Kamala Harris. I think she's completely out of her fucking mind.
Yeah.
Even with all that help, she couldn't even answer a fucking question. I mean, I'm not going to shut up. I might get bounced around with this. I don't really care. I don't. This is the most horrible thing you can do. And her and Biden, you're traitors. You're traitors to your own country over power, money, greed. You have betrayed your whole your country. This is a coup happening in our country right now, right under our nose.
Yeah.
And people are still clapping for her and him? How and why? Are you completely retarded? I don't get it. I really don't. I may take some heat for this, but I don't care.
Well, they said there was a her sorority sister.
Sorority
moderator.
sisters and all of this stuff. I mean, but how could you do this?
Crazy.
You know, when you're a sorority sister and you have to do something corrupt, you know what you do? You back away. You say, listen, I'm not going to hurt you because I'm your sister, a sorority sister, but I can't be part of it. I walk away. You don't go through with it. It's a crime. You belong in prison. You do. You belong in prison. But in the military, when you betray your country, you face a death penalty. This is not a minor thing because you betray everybody. People can't eat. I hear this constantly. They can't pay for their food. They can't pay for their insurance. The fucking country's falling apart. And you're helping that happen? You're betraying the entire country. You know, Trump did that with the dogs. I laughed my ass off. Dogs and cats. And I did my research. It's happening exactly where he said it's happening. And all over the country. They called him a liar. The guy called him a liar.
They try to make him look crazy.
They
Trump.
try to make him
Yeah.
look crazy, but it's backfiring on them big time. And everybody, listen, I never tell people who to vote for, what to vote, and what to do. You got your own life, you got your own mind. That's what this country's about. They're taking that away. But pay attention to what you're looking at. It's just common sense. I heard Michael Franchise talking about it too. Any gangster in his right mind, we've done some of these things that they're doing. We know exactly what they're doing. Yeah. I rigged trials, bribed people that did things. I did these things. So I see it. It's clear as a bell for me. And Michael Franchise and Anthony, so many guys are here mouthing off. So I don't know what more to say about this, but this is about as gross as it gets. Don't these people who are doing this, don't you have children? Don't you have families? You think because you're a Democrat that it's going to be easy on you? It's unless you're a liberal white elite, you ain't getting nothing. You're going to feel the pain. Black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, Italian people, Irish, I don't care who you are, you're going to feel the pain unless you're one of those white liberal scumbags who are up on top and don't care about anybody but themselves, not even their own family. Why? Because you think you're rich and the kid will be rich and the kid will be okay? I don't know. I did this here. If this goes on, this is the end of the media. We're lucky we have. I didn't like social media at first. We're lucky we got this, and we have the right in this country to talk and to answer these things.
Yeah.
They want to take away TikTok and do certain things.
Yeah, I think.
What is anybody doing wrong on TikTok?
Right.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Right.
But they want it. She says, me and my vice president, we have guns. We're never going to take it away. She's on tape talking about taking it away. They're going to take it away. Or they're going to try if they win. So all of these negative things. And he said the best thing at the end. And I'm hearing so many people say the same thing. You're talking about we're going to make the country great again? If you vote for me in, you won 3.5 years ago. Why didn't you make the country great? You made it 50 times worse. Everything that's happening is your fault. But you'll make it worse and blame Trump. Make it worse and blame Trump. This is ridiculous. If we can't see that, I don't know what's wrong with us.
TikTok just censored you.
Yep.
Or I mean the CCP.
So TikTok threw me off.
TikTok threw you off, my friend.
All right. Listen, I expected that. I expect more.
Yeah.
So, but it's a total fucking disgrace what's going on in this country. And it's right under our nose. All these big corporations, liberal elites, they could do what they want. They could throw me off. They could throw other people off. They could keep doing what they're doing. But you can't stop. Once the public, the general public, really understands this, you're going to fight the whole country. You're going to fight a couple 100 million people. You're going to throw them all off. You're going to take away their rights. They'll start to understand I have no rights. If they don't want to hear you, they could take you off. They could get rid of you. I'm ashamed of TikTok to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think TikTok would do that.
All your YouTube community obviously supports you and agrees with you. They have the same beliefs as you. They feel disgusted as well. They can't believe what happened. How did they know where Trump was going to be yesterday? Who told him?
Right. Now we'll have an investigation over that. I heard people talking today, and they said they'll try it again before the election. And if he's president, they may kill him while he's in office. He better watch his ass. Mm-hmm. This is how vicious these people are. And this is for fucking greed. For who controls power and greed. Simple. And they don't care who they hurt. Do you think they love her? She's talking. You think she loves any one of us? None. Zero. I don't care what color, nationality, what you are, what religion you are. No. They hate us. They want us like little ants, controlling everything. And if we vote her in, that's exactly what's going to happen. And me, the only thing I'm afraid of is that my grandchildren will turn around 10 years from now, if I'm still alive, and say, Grandpa, why didn't you fucking say something or do something? And I'm going to say, I did. I'll show you the videos that they shut me down, but I did. You guys, they can't shut you down. Your voice is in your vote, and let people know. You know, I have a lot of friends who were Democrats, and I talked to some of them, and I got some of them now talking to me and saying, Sammy, you're right. I thought it was the media. I never thought the media could be this corrupt. But now I'm seeing it. They are. It's not all of the media. There's a lot of good people working in the media, a lot.
Right.
It's the liberal elites that run it. These people are just puppets. They got to say what they are told.
Well, thank God I know your friend Patrick Bet-David with Valuetainment is one of the biggest independent platforms out there.
Patrick Bet-David has been blasting this stuff. Megyn Kelly, it's an honest, good person blasting it out.
Tucker.
What's her name?
Candace Owens.
Candace Owen has been blasting it out.
Charlie Kirk.
Oh, so many people are blasting it out. Those are good people. They lost their jobs. Megyn Kelly lost her job. She quit. This woman in Arizona who's running.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Carrie Lake.
Carrie Lake. She worked for the media for 30 years and quit because she's disgusting how corrupt it is. I mean, Tucker Carlson got thrown out. I heard Joe Rogan today saying things that he can't even believe what's going on.
Yeah.
So if it's not, we can't even listen to them. These are honest people. Big names. Everything to lose, nothing to gain. They're telling you the truth. Wake up. We have to wake up.
Yeah.
Or we'll have nothing left. So now they can't shut me down for smoking, right?
No, go ahead. Croatian Zlatko, Sammy the Bull Corvano for president with an envelope for you, Sammy. John Mitchell also with an envelope for you. Let me go grab that one.
Thank you, guys. Listen, I wish there's something I could do even more. I would do it. I'm not afraid. I'm at the end of my life. I'm pushing fucking 80 years old. I'm at the end of my life. But I cannot. I just had a great-grandchild born. I look at the pictures. I have grandchildren. I have friends of mine who are sending me their grandson who was just born. I don't want to mention names, but they're so happy, so proud. The woman I'm talking about is 75. And she fears what's going to happen to that baby. What are they going to grow up with? What are they going to have? We're going to really lose our freedom right now? After everything we went through? I was in the military. I go to VAs. There's guys with their arms blown off, their legs blown off. These fucking people gave their lives and fought for us. And we're turning on them. All you did was in vain. It didn't mean anything. How should they feel? It is, I mean, a total disgrace. I mean, I'm going to keep pounding out. And you know, Trump, I liked him, I didn't like him, I like the way he talks, I don't like the way he talks. I love him now. He's our only hope right now. Why wouldn't he walk the fuck away? He's got billions of dollars. He shot once, a guy ready to shoot him again, but he's still here fucking fighting. And I'm supposed to crawl into a hole? No, I love him. Keep fighting, Trump. Win. And break their asses. Put them away. They can't take a country within like that. I don't mind if another country comes and bombs us and we lose a war. From within, our own fucking people are betraying us. It's a coup within. That's why sometimes it's hard for people to contemplate. Why would the news media do this? Why would this do that? Why? Who gives a shit what their reason is? They're doing it. The why don't matter no more. Why would you hurt me? You don't even know me. Why do I care what your reason is? You're hurting me. So, I guess I'm going to back up now a little bit on this.
You're getting a lot of love in your community on YouTube.
Well, I hope I do. I wish I had a bigger voice. I would be pounding on their doors, believe me. And if I was 20 years younger, I'd be pounding on their fucking doors. No, you're not going to do this. Vote. Everybody who can vote, vote. And make sure your vote, somebody's not wangling your vote when you vote. You go in and vote for Trump, and it winds up in her basket. Mm-hmm. I think Trump is working on that right now as we speak. Mm-hmm. I mean, I went to his rally with 23,000 people. One better than the other. People apologizing, excuse me, this, that, and the other thing. Good people. You were there, Anna.
Oh my God, the energy.
The energy and everything was beautiful. It's beautiful. It was fighting for America. That's what you felt.
It was light and pure and just, I mean, it was, I can't even describe it.
How could you knock that? And you want to kill this guy? Kill him?
It's demonic.
It's demonic. It's beyond words. It's beyond murder. It's treason. And treason should be dealt with by a court. Not by us, but by a court. Where's the courts? Where's the FBI? Where's everything?
Yeah.
Thank God the Secret Service did a good job this time.
Yeah.
Thank God they weren't in on it like the last time.
Right.
And I'm a hit guy. That first one, the guy who shot him in the air, that was a fucking marksman. That was an assassin. Look at where he got hit, right in the ear. He turned to get hit in the ear. If he didn't turn, it would have been right between his eyes. He knows that. And he's still out there fighting for us. He ain't fighting for himself. He's got fucking $5, $6, $7, $8 billion. Right. He's losing everything. Yeah. He's not fighting for himself. Fighting for himself, he would have shut his mouth, keep his billions, and go on and live a happy, happy life.
The sacrifice that his family, Barron, who's going to NYU, his Melania, his sons, his grandchildren, like what a huge sacrifice.
Right. Even his wife now, speaking a little bit here and there, she said, you know, he was the president of the United States at one point, and they shoot him on a stage. And now, a short time goes by. She made a good point. Nobody's even talking about it. She means news media and people, investigations and things. Yeah. It just disappears. It didn't work out for them. They wanted him dead. Then they could have fed us some bullshit story like they did it with JFK. Would have been the same thing. That kid, we shot him, it's over, this, that. We would have been talking about it for 40 fucking years and never get to the bottom. I saw the other guy, Kennedy, JFK. He's finally saying now, that his uncle, JFK, and his father were killed by the CIA. Our own country is killing our own people elected officials that we put in. Who the fuck don't like them and decides to kill them? Even the mafia don't do it that ugly. Most of the times, sometimes, when we find that sometimes in somebody, we get rid of them. We don't want that. And we're supposed to be ugly. You're going to take out a guy because you don't like him? It's not because they don't like him. He's bent on taking away all that illegal shit, all that money they get. Billions of dollars are going into Ukraine. Do you think that's all going into Ukraine? If it's not going into somebody's pockets, let's continue the war. I heard Joe Rogan said today, are we out of our mind? Biden is now talking about giving them missiles that would fire deep into Russia. Now think about it. Russia's a powerhouse. They got nukes up the yin-yang. Why would we want to do that? For what? We give them the nukes. They do it. It's an act of war on our part. Do we want to start a nuclear war? Win, lose, or draw? Mm-hmm. We got to be crazy. These people up on top are crazy. I don't want a nuclear war. Millions and millions and millions of people, even if we win the war, we'll lose 100 million people. We won? We won what? Half the country be blown away. We won nothing.
Kamala's finger on the nuke button. No
Yeah.
thanks.
And she's on this. She's actually worse than Biden.
Oh yeah.
Because she's a little bit smarter than Biden. Biden, I think he really don't know what planet he's on anymore. I really think he's so fucking far gone. But she's even worse. They're bought. They're puppets. And they're going to do it because they're the puppeteers. We're the puppets. Mm-hmm. They're the puppeteers. They tell us jump, we got to jump. We don't jump, they'll make a law to put us away, take things away from us, all kinds of things. That ain't America. You know, I'm almost 80. I know America. I know it. I know what my mother and father went through. I know how they worked hard and they became a little successful, a little bit. But there's opportunities there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I go in a grocery store. I was paying 70-something, 80-something dollars for what I normally buy. I went and bought the same bullshit. 125, 138.
Yeah.
I told him, what the fuck? It's almost double. That's just food. It's gas, it's rent. I wanted to move from here. So I'm looking at rents, where to move to. The rents are through the roof. $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $7,000 a month. How the fuck do I move? And this is like, and we're looking at them dead in the eye. We know exactly what they're doing, and we're doing nothing. And I can't blame people. A lot of the guys and people and women and children, everybody would say, well, what can we do? Vote. I guess the only answer is vote. I heard a guy the other day said we had a revolution with the Boston Tea Party because they raised taxes by 2 cents. Mm-hmm. The people wouldn't accept it. We're accepting raise on top of raise on top of, in every category of life. Now they're fucking without food. They're doing all kinds of things. Yeah. The pans I watched today, the frying pan that's coated.
Oh yeah.
After when it gets used, the coating starts to deteriorate, and now when you're cooking in it, we're eating that shit too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's real bad.
You saw it?
Yeah. It's terrible.
Now this other guy with, what's his name, with the glasses there, that I can't see.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. I mean, he's getting coatings for food so it lasts longer. He's doing this and that. This guy's not a fucking farmer. He's nothing, bro. What are we watching? What does he care about what we eat? He's a multi-gazillionaire. He's buying farmland. What's that? That's not even your business. And you're dictating to farmers now what kind of sprays they got to use or what kind of chemicals they got to use, because he's making them. Big pharma, what they're doing.
Oh yeah, he tests vaccines on like the slums in India to see if the like test trials on like poor people.
Yeah.
They get all messed up. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy, but listen, guys. I don't know how long TikTok will leave me off, but
Till the 19th.
till the 19th, that's it.
You're in
Little
timeout.
slap on the fucking cheeks of my ass.
Did it say why?
Yeah, it said that there was offensive content.
Offensive content.
Offensive content.
Yep. It goes against their.
I'm offended. They're offended.
Right.
Yeah. Now I could go over their houses and bang their wives, and that's not offensive to them.
Yeah.
Or I could bang a little kid, that's not offensive to them. You could
Right.
do all them disgusting things, that's not offensive to them. This is offensive to them because they're part of it.
Yeah.
They're part of it. You think this would be music to your ears if you know, there was a woman on today, and she had something taken down. And then she said, she got it back, and she said, listen to what was said. And she played the video, and you could hear it. And she's talking about people doing things to little kids, child molestation, all of these things. That's all she's saying. Then the video's over. And she said, I was taken down for weeks for this. And I listened to the video. I really would like to take that video and show it, but I don't know if I could or I can't because it's her video. But I watched it today and said, what did she say wrong? She's talking to protect kids. She's talking to protect her family. What did she say wrong? Is that freedom of speech?
Yeah. John Marshall said, I'm offended that Sammy's offended. Let me jump into a super chat real quick. Let's see. M Driver 1981. Your good friend Bobby Borriello was killed. I remember that day, as that day my grandfather, who was in a funeral home, died. That leads me to this question. Were undertakers mobbed up in your day?
Most of them were. And let me tell you, I don't know if you know who killed Bobby Borriello. He was killed by a guy named Frankie, I forget his fucking name, from the Lucchese family. That was gas pipe, bumping off some of our people. We found that out later. If I can remember his name or I can find it out, I don't remember. Frankie, a big tall guy. I'll put the name out at another time.
Big Frank?
Big Frank.
Lastorino?
Lestorino, Frankie Lestorino, that's him. He's the one who killed Bobby Borriello on orders from gas pipe for no reason, because he was a tough guy and he was backing John to get rid of people who were backing John.
Wow.
John Gotti. That's why he killed him. And I believe me and John were in prison at the time. We didn't break up yet, and we were fuming. But there's not too much you can do from prison.
And just to follow up from another super chat, JB Weld, about these funeral homes. Sammy, why didn't the families own funeral homes? Seems like the fireplace would have been less messy than the Gemini method. Salute.
Well, we owned funeral homes and stuff like that. You got to remember, a funeral home is a business. Not every funeral home does something ugly. A few of them did, especially some of them that had these cremation machines. They cremate you, and they could put them in there. You turn to ash. It's a good place to get rid of a body. Very rare that I hear of places like that. Most funeral homes that I knew or went to, the Scapacci's, they didn't do things like that. They give you good treatment, other people good treatment. They were hooked up with the mob. They gave a kickback, but they didn't do anything that I know of disgusting. And I knew the whole family. My wife knew the girl who was there. They were good friends. I knew all the brothers. There was 3 brothers. I actually knew the father a little bit. But they're not necessarily that they did anything wrong. You know, they were good. They got your body. They took care of it. They always try to do the nicest and best things for the people. Sammy was in Scapaci's, and a few people were there. Frankie the Chico, I believe, was there.
Wow.
So they're not all bad. You know, it's like anything else. All forms of life have rotten apples. It's the way it is. Cops, soldiers, gangsters, you name it, politicians by the shitload, their barrel is full of them. But, you know, there's always somebody. But funeral homes, I thought they were, you know, good places to work for people who worked, who owned them, as long as they did the right job and the right thing. And they respected death in a family and respected the families. And I always remembered, I'll keep using Scapaci as an example, they did the right thing. I mean, they went out, they really, really tried to do the right thing with the families and got them food or got them chairs and just, they tried everything. You know, death is death. It's ugly, it's hard on families and people, but they're not bad people. Not all of them. There is here and there, I guess. But
Yeah, your exclusive interview you did a little while back with Michael Vecchione. It's on ourthing.tv and your YouTube. He goes into depths about investigations into the funeral homes that were doing the chop shop stuff. But you guys got to go see it. It's pretty crazy.
Right,
Sammy had some really
right.
good insight on it.
right. And there's not, like, even him when they was investigating, it's not every one, it's some. Some of them even, you know, gave the body, but they thought they were giving it legitimately. And these guys would pick up the body and use the body parts and teeth and whatever the fuck they were using and doing. And yeah, that was a hell of an interview we did with him.
Wow.
So, yeah, but they're not all, I don't want to label them all bad people. There was a lot of good people, honest people.
Oh yeah, let's do a question. You want to do the actor?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, do that. That's another good one.
Who was Sammy's favorite Hollywood actor?
From years ago.
We'll say old Hollywood. Let's see. In the meantime, Mets fan wants to know, Sammy, why do you think that Bensonhurst produced so many gangsters?
I don't know. You know, the only thing I could think of with that is that there were ghettos, some black ghettos, and they had a lot of drug dealers. So, and they produced a lot of black gangsters and pimps and drug dealers. I guess as a kid, when you grow up in certain neighborhoods, you become that in a way. So, you know, I always was, you know, kids would go to college. When you go out of town to Minnesota, places, and, you know, Montana, all these places, they all go to college. Why? Because they go to malls, they hang out with each other. Most of the kids go to college. So if you don't, you're like an outsider. So they all go to college. In these areas, if you're not a gangster or you're not a drug dealer or you're not something, you're out of character. You know, you're a misfit. So a lot of guys and people grow up that way. I mean, I thought that way as a kid. And I think that's basically you are what your society around you is. You know, everybody, when you're growing up, Your mom and dad, you love them, they're giving you advice, but yeah, I know better than her or him, or they don't pay attention to you. It's good training, but they don't pay attention to it. Who do they really pay attention to? Their friends, what's going on in the neighborhood, who do they look up to? In Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, me growing up, I looked up to Gangstas. They were my God. They were my angels. They were the bomb. They were the guys with the fucking beautiful pinky rings and the beautiful watches and the beautiful girls, the beautiful cars, spending money like it was water. Everybody idolized them. So did I. So I guess if I would have grown up in Montana, I might have been different. I might have been a farmer. I might have been something that I looked up to. A farmer, or maybe I would have went to college. I doubt it because I was dyslexic. So I had trouble in school, but I would have been a farmer or a businessman. I'm pretty good in business. So maybe I would have been those things. That's what I would have looked up to more. And, or I'm so good looking, I might have been an actor.
That's so good looking. Speaking of
I'm
actors,
so good looking.
Canadian Toker's guest was Danny DeVito. Who's your favorite actor? And Demi's cracking up about it.
Do you want to give the answer so I can give the names?
What's the answer, Sammy? Who's your favorite?
The name is James Cagney, bro.
Yay.
He was my idol. That's another thing that made me a gangster. James Cagney was one of the biggest gangsters that acted. I mean, he was great. All his parts, Angels with Dirty Faces. If you ever watched some of those old movies, you would be blown away with his stuff. He was really great.
Okay, real quick. Tommy Aveda, Peter Allen MMA, Tony Logan, Draven 5682, Janet and PA, Demi, Dr. Rick, Francisco Horna, Xavier James, and Acting for Fun Lions. You guys are going in there. Can you give a shout out to Lily Rose, please?
Shout out, Lily Rose.
Giovanni in the super chat. Hey, Sammy, and the 1986 50 wealthiest mob bosses. When that article came out, or that I don't know, that magazine one came out, Gotti was on the list, I believe. Do you remember this? And did it start any drama?
No, I don't remember the list. It didn't start any drama with me. I know I wasn't on that list of 50, but you know, I don't know even if John was on the list, but maybe he shouldn't have been on the list. John made a ton of money, no doubt about it. He should be on the list. But he was a degenerate gambler. I mean, he gambled money faster than it came in. He was a gambler all his life. He didn't stop when he got rich. He gambled like crazy, all the time. So I don't know if he held on to that wealth. I know his kid wound up with some of it. His daughter wound up with some of it. So they wound up, but I don't think the whole family wound up super rich.
Mark wants to know, dear Sammy, what would John do if you told him, no, I'm not taking the rap?
In prison, he wouldn't have done shit. I would have ripped his fucking head off his shoulders. I was really tough when I was young. I mean, I was built like a fucking moose. But he would have probably tried to kill me. I don't know what the fuck he would have done. I mean, if I'm not taking the rap, what am I doing? How do I get out of the middle of this thing? Now, a good question, and I ask myself this question, is that if we were on the same tier when this whole thing happened at the end, because we were in the beginning and then we were on different tiers, I would have and should have killed him. Because I'm going to do life without parole anyway. Going to trial, I'm going to go do life without parole. If I kill him, first of all, I might get even. And as a gangster, that's what I was about. I would get even. If you did evil things to me, I would do evil things to you. And secondly, I think I could have beat the trial probably easier. He's gone. The weight goes on him, not me. His tape is almost useless to me. While he's alive, they could use his tape against me. While he's not alive, I could have a chance of getting his tapes thrown out. And I'm not on those tapes because I have the right to face my accuser. My accuser is dead. Now what? I can't face my accuser. And that's a law. So I probably would have had a better chance. I was stunned at what he did. I was infuriated, would have loved to kill him. But thinking about I would have had an easier time, I didn't even think of that. I was stunned. But I don't know. If you tell somebody you're not going to do it, then what are you going to do? Cooperate? What are you going to do? You have two choices. Cooperate or go to prison for the rest of your life. Simple. And I never cared about doing prison for the rest of my life because I always thought that's exactly what would happen. Either I would be killed or I would go to prison. That's the life. I knew that. But not to go to prison this way. By the federal government, law enforcement, all of that. Yeah. Not by my own people. My own man.
Right.
And he was my man. I lived for him. I was willing to die for him. I killed for him. I did everything for him. I made him millions and millions of dollars. Whatever aspect you look of his life and mine, we're glued. My son got hit by a car. He was up in the hospital. Whatever happened with him, boom, I was right there. I would drop anything and everything. I could be in one of my family functions. John, boom, I was gone. I'll see you, babe. I'll talk to you later. And I was gone. So, to be betrayed by somebody like that, for me, it broke me. It broke my will. It broke what I was. I broke. Plain and simple.
Thank you, Sammy. Bad Bows wants to know, can you tell us more about that boxing scam involving Snipes, Ronaldo?
Who?
Ronaldo Snipes?
Ronaldo Snipes? Yeah. Ronaldo Snipes was a tough guy. I used to spar with him a little bit in a gym. He was way bigger than me, play with me a little bit. But he was a great fighter. And we had a guy from Italy who was the champ of Italy. He was what made guys in Sicily. We reached them. We wanted him to come with his title, champ, and fight some guy and beat the guy, be a top contender, and then go in and fight Ronaldo Snipes. Ronaldo Snipes would beat him easily. Now we wanted Ronaldo Snipes now to go to Mike Tyson, and now we would be able to get more money on the fight because he has a title belt from the Italian champion, and he's fought a top tender. But when he came in, the top tender, he came in, he fought somebody who's a top tender and lost. So he lost his fight, he lost his title. So Ronaldo Snipes, there's no use of him fighting that guy from Italy anymore. You're a nobody no more. So that wouldn't help him to fight and get more money on the Mike Tyson thing. Don King was running it at that time, and we were in discussions with him to have this fight. And he was only able to get a small amount of money if he was going to fight Mike Tyson. I don't know if he would have beat Mike Tyson, I don't think so. But we wanted him to have the title belt, a top contender. He comes into Mike Tyson, and he gets a hell of a lot more money. And we were going to get a piece of that. So I was tasked with, John Gotti told me, to set it up. and I was setting it up. But the guy from Italy fought a top contender and lost. We thought he would win easily. So now he's a top contender in the United States. He's the champ of Italy. Now Ronaldo Snipes fights him, wins, and now Ronaldo Snipes could get, instead of $300,000 for a fight, he could have got maybe $1 million change. But it didn't work for that reason. He lost the fight.
Pizza Dave back in the super chat. Did Funzi Thierry own Asparos on 65th Street?
I don't know. I know who it is. Funzi Terry. I don't know if he owned that place or not. I know he was labeled as a street boss. Very powerful. But it was just a title that was made up. He wasn't a boss. He was a street boss, they called him. So that the heat comes off of the actual boss. They always try to confuse the government. Street boss, boss. Who the fuck is the boss? We don't know who the boss is. That's who they were trying to confuse. Didn't confuse guys in the street, but it confused the government a little bit, or the news media. He was a tough guy, Funzi Terry, and he was behind stuff in Philadelphia. I don't really want to get into it. It's with the Johnny Key story, and I'm working on that, but he was involved in that a little bit, his name. So,
Awesome.
but he really wasn't a boss. He was they called him a street boss.
Awesome. Thank you, Sammy. Chaos Carnage. Hey, Sammy, love your show. Did you know Tommy Lucchese, or did you hear about him when you were coming up in the Mafia?
I heard about him. No, I didn't know him. He was before my time. He had to be a lot older than me, and I didn't know him. But I heard the name, but never met him or saw him.
Labgal JJ in the super chat. My dad worked for Sonny Francis, Billy Vitolo. He's passed now. I think you may have known him. Listening to you is like listening to my dad. Keep speaking the truth.
Yeah. Well, Sonny was a good guy. Michael's stepdad. Good guy, tough guy. I think they fucked him, the government. I don't think he was charged with robbing banks or something like that. Now, somebody around him could have been doing that, and maybe they gave him a piece or something when they did a score, but that doesn't mean he was doing it. You know, I don't think he was involved in that. When they picketed the FBI, the Colombo family, Joe Colombo and them, on the first time when they picketed, I was on that picket line with Shorty Spiro. I was with Carmine Persico, I'm sorry. And I was young, not made, early 20s, and I was one of the guys. Shorty was ought to go. He took his nephew, Tommy Spiro, me, and I think one other guy. And I never forget, I told Shorty, I said, Shorty, they're taking pictures with cameras from all the windows up there. Who the fuck are they? He said, probably the FBI. This is the FBI building. So I said, aren't we committing suicide here doing this? He said, yeah, but we got orders. And I stayed there. But thank God, Shorty must have convinced Carmine to take us off. After a couple of weeks of doing it, we were pulled off.
The Bonzo with a generous envelope for you. No comment, no question.
Thank you.
Jordan Armstrong. Hi from Scotland, Sammy. Did you know Nino Gaggi, and what was his reaction to killing Paul?
I knew him very, very well. He came right out of Bensonhurst, Brooklyn with me, and where I was from. He used to hang out in Tommaso's, and he was a captain. And Roy DeMayo's crew was with him. And then his nephew, I knew his nephew as well. What was his name again?
Dominic Montiglio.
Dominic Martiglio. He was in the military. He was a ranger. Tough kid.
Yeah.
Tough guy. He died not too long ago.
Yeah.
I was in touch with him. and his people.
Great interview. You did a great interview with Ross Bradar.
Yeah,
It's up on ourthing.tv, guys. Go check it out.
right. Yeah. And I knew them all. And he was a real tough guy, No two ways about it. He wasn't a big guy or was thin. I don't know how tough he was physically, but he'll kill you in a fucking minute. Very dangerous guy. And I liked him. I got along with him good. So did Louis Melito. Get along with him good. So,
JB Weld is back in the super chat. Anyone from Sardinia take the oath? Technically it's Italy, but not really Italian.
say it again.
Did anybody from Sardinia take the oath?
Could they? Yeah, if they came into the United States, listen, there's guys who took the oath in Italy, Sicily, and all over there. Even Napolitans and everybody else after a while. The Sicilians were the first. But they're only recognized in Sicily. We'll recognize them, give them respect, but we take a blood oath. We put our blood on a saint, we burn the oath in our hand, and we take a blood oath. If you didn't take a blood oath here, in this country, you're not one of us. We'll respect you for what you are in Italy very much, but you're still not one of us. So you can come here and you could be a captain or an underboss, and I'm only just a maid guy. I get more respect than him. I belong here. I'm made in the United States. My blood oath is here. So, and that goes because Italy has different rules of Cosa Nostra than we have. They can use bombs. We're not allowed. They're allowed to do drugs. We were in the beginning, and then we weren't allowed. So there's different rules, and they killed the son of a son. In other words, if you took my son, I would take your son. Or they killed people's sons when they killed somebody. Now, they did that not because they're vicious, because they grew up in small towns in Sicily. So when at dawn, a boss ordered a guy killed, and he's got a 14-year-old kid. They know that 14-year-old kid is going to grow up and become a little bit of a gangster. And he'll try to get even, maybe. So when they take out the dad, a lot of times they'll take out the son. So he's no threat 10 years later, 15 years later. Like you saw that in The Godfather, where he goes back and he gets even. But that was the thing that they do. We don't do that in the United States. A lot of times they'll kill somebody's family member because the guy became a cooperator. In the United States, we don't agree with that. You're not supposed to do that. It's been done once or twice, maybe more, a couple times more. But if your dad becomes an informant, we don't touch your wife, we don't touch the kids. They didn't do nothing wrong. You did. We'll come after you. We don't look to kill the wife or the kids. Rare occasions it does happen, but it's not in our rules, it's against the rules. You're not supposed to do that. And we enforce these rules. You know, it's not just, okay, we won't do it with this one. If you do it, and we know you're doing that, we'll kill you. You're not listening to the rules. Our rules, if you don't enforce the rules, you don't kill somebody who did that, then this starts to spread. And that becomes us. And I hate to knock the cartels or do anything like that, but fuck the cartels. The cartels do that all the time. And that's literally your downfall. A country, like cartels will do it, every single legitimate Mexican person, which is a bulk of it, don't like that. They can maybe understand why you killed your compadre, your partner, whatever. They broke rules. But when you kill people's families, a young kid, a wife, that'll turn your own kind against you, Mexicans, or Sicilians, or Italians. They did that in Sicily. They killed a prosecutor. He was a judge and a prosecutor. He was driving in a car on a road. One of the old bosses lived in the mountains. And he ordered the hit. They put a bomb under the street. When the car was passing, they hit the bomb. The first car, the prosecutor was in it. It's a famous case. The wife, 2 kids, the driver. The other car crashed and half blew up. Some of the kids got hurt in that car. All of Sicily, all of Italy protested against that. So it brings out, the good people finally say, fuck you, that's it, that's enough. We don't buy this. You want to kill yourself? And for rules, we get it, we understand it. This we don't understand. What did that woman do? What did she do? She got married? What did the kids do? So these are things that separate us. So when we have separations, you could be a pimp in Italy. Now there's guys who dealt with pornography, but most of us, you can't be a pimp. We don't want that label. We don't want to be looked at like that. So we have different rules. So we respect one another for what we are, for what we do and everything, but we don't live by the same exact rules. Before I got married, I was in the Colombo family and I had an argument with the Zips, greaseballs. That's what we called them. And he was from Italy, a heifer boss. And they broke the windows in my place. I think I said that story a couple of times, so I'm not going to say the whole story. And this guy, when I went for advice or help, he said, yeah, we broke your windows because you have no respect. And I said, why? What did I do that I have no respect? He said, I got a place, a cafe right on the corner. You didn't ask my permission to open up your club. I said, I asked the Colombo people, I'm with them, for permission. They told me okay. So I didn't think I had to come to you. And then he told me, yeah, you see these people there? Yeah. I waved my hand, you don't get out of here. But I had a gun on me, so did my Gumbada alley boy. And I said, listen to me, you stupid fuck. I opened up my jacket. And I said, you see this? I had the gun laying right in my waist. I'm going to blow your fucking head off. I'm not going to walk out. You're never even going to see it. I'm going to blow your fucking head right off your shoulders. And then I'll walk out. Or I'll shoot it out with, maybe I'll die here today. I don't know. But you, for sure. And some of you guys are going to die too. And my Gumbada says, my Gumbada alley boy said, Sammy, you want me to shoot him now? No. I wanted to walk out. No. Because he was shitting his fucking pants. I don't give a fuck who he is, from Sicily, out of Mongolia, I don't care where he's from. And I got away with that in a sense because when I went back and report, I did walk out, obviously. So did Alley Boy. And my people, my Persico said, you did the right thing. Fuck them. They don't have no position here. And I was carrying a gun, and he said, you don't have to carry it no more. We spoke to them. And they must have talked to them really rough because they didn't fuck with me, no way, no how. They actually would, when I would walk by, they would go like, they would bow their head. So I wasn't going to get hurt, and that's the way it flies. And everybody in the neighborhood there was compensating. We heard about the beef you had. Good, fuck them people, bro. So you know, we respect them. But you got to show respect. You're here on a visa. You don't belong here. You're not American. You're not, you didn't take our oath. And this is what goes on like now. When we go back to politics, as I'm talking, I'm thinking about all these fucking people that she flew in from Haiti, Haitians, The troubles that are going on in this country, they don't even belong here, bro. And you're saying their rights should be protected against our own people. They're the ones eating the dogs and killing dogs and cats, and I'll put that aside. And I don't put it aside. I love Lily, my baby dog. I mean, if you try to eat my dog, I'm going to kill you.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
I'll say it right out, bro.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's crimes happening all over the place. And then she and her vice president is saying, we got to protect their rights. They got no fucking rights here. If they come in and they're like gentlemen or women, we could give them rights. We could accept them. Come in the right way, number one. And number two, act like a fucking human being. You know, another thing I found out just recently, another thing they do in Haiti, now I'm not against these people, I don't even know them, but they're derelicts. They're bottom of the barrel. And they believe in voodoo. When they kill these dogs and eat them, it's not just killing the dog and eating it. That turns our stomach, I'm sure. But they take the bones and things and do voodoo, spiritual things or whatever they do. And you're allowing them in droves. I watched the thing in the town that they talked about, 40,000 people in the town.
Yeah.
She brought in 15,000 people, and they're being flown in. They're not even walking across the border, they're flying them in. For what? So 40,000 people, you adding 15,000, that's only like adding 2-3 people. A good part of the town is them now. And there's all kinds of crimes. And she wants you to be, and she's smiling and laughing at it.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are things that are going on, and these are things that you got to see. So.
All right, Sammy, we hit the 2-hour mark.
So 2 hour, you know my usual thing is how I sign off and throw my kiss, but I'm going to do it a little different because I am a born-again Christian now. So I'm going to say, guys, love and peace.